Charles Marsala is with us, and Charles, welcome.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I want to talk first about the airport. Many of you probably know we've got this new terminal that is going to be opening up in a few months. It's been delayed about a year, and there are all kinds of questions about cost and environmental impact. And Charles has been doing some digging, so what have you found out?
Sure, and Jeff, the airport, you know, it's interesting because Mitch has promoted himself as the climate change guy, and he's been very hard on Donald Trump for getting out of Paris. But this airport's going to add 1% of what New Orleans currently produces in CO2. That's 40,000 metric tons because they're moving it further away. So the vehicle miles is 30 million vehicle miles. So you start looking at the climate impact on that, plus they took away 30 acres, plus you have other emissions that are going to come out. It's a pretty harsh impact, but you also have the community. They're going to put a flyway through Aberdeen to get to the airport, which is going to divide in half a community of about 5,000 people. And very little was ever said to these residents that this is going to happen. And it's going to be like the overpass in Claiborne. So I think the human environmental impact is perhaps as strong or stronger than the CO2.
But this flyover hasn't been built.
There are so many financial problems with it.
And when is this flyover going to be built?
They haven't even picked the plan yet, and oddly enough, they started with 15 plans. They're down to 3, and they have letters, L, I, and E. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So is that symbolic or what?
It apparently is. You know, it's telling a story.
But so how are people going to get to the, so there won't be, you know, interstate access, so how
they're going to build these ramps, and the thing was, none of this was proposed to the people when Mitch pushed that airport through to the terminal, excuse me, to the north side.
Right.
So now it's there, and you have a terminal with no access.
Right.
Like the bridge to nowhere, you have the reverse.
So you're going to get there through veterans, or?
You're going to take veterans, you're going to get off at Loyola, you're going to go down Aberdeen, and then you're going to snake way into the airport. And the idea is to build this ramp, which they didn't hit funding. You know, there was a thing to get a 17-cent a gallon gasoline tax that was to pay for it, and that failed.
So how far is the new terminal from the old terminal?
Well, as the crow flies, it's probably less than a mile. It's just across the runway and a few feet. But to get to it, you're now going to have to take that access road all the way around and come back to up Williams, back to Loyola, and then back in to get to that terminal.
So the exit that we take now to get to the terminal,
you'll go another exit.
Will be useless.
Be useless. Rent-a-cars are going to stay there. So if you fly in, if you're come into business in New Orleans, you got to then take a shuttle bus all the way around to the rent-a-car place. And I also, from what I understand, if you work at the airport, you're going to park on the south side. There's no parking for employees on the north side. Somebody said it was like using a shoehorn to fit an airport in over there.
What's going to happen to the old terminal?
Right now, they're saying they're going to mothball it. I've actually starting to hear rumors that this new terminal is actually not going to open in May, as they're telling us. It's not going to be to August or September, and that they might be phased in. So that rather than what was going to be a drop-dead date, they're now going to keep that old terminal open.
So we're going to be following this for quite a while. And,
it's, you know, as Latoya's financial officer said, there's a lot of mushrooms that she's inherited.